Hello and welcome to the live weekly show Beyond Limits. I'm Melissa Hausmann, and I'm passionate about helping coaches grow, build, and scale a business that they love. I'm excited to share my insider secrets for building a six-figure business and hitting those consistent 10K months. Today, I'm spilling the beans on a super simple strategy that'll 2x your leads in no time. Trust me, this one strategy alone will move you from 0 clients in your pipeline to a packed calendar of discovery calls. Over the past 3 weeks, I've had the pleasure of connecting with countless incredible coaches and consultants. Throughout these conversations, a reoccurring theme has emerged: the struggle to secure and vet consistent leads. Many coaches find themselves without a repeatable sales system and got super nervous when I asked them how often they spend time in the DMs. I vividly recall a time when spending hours in the DM was not even on my radar. The thought of reaching out to strangers with a sales pitch seemed terrifying to me. But once I discovered the power of this super simple strategy, everything changed for me. Today, I'm excited to peel back the curtains and reveal exactly how you can leverage the DMs to not only find clients, but also to do so authentically and effectively. Get ready to transform your approach and unlock a whole new world of opportunity. So let's jump right in. Here are the 3 things I did to double my leads using DMs. Number 1, find your ideal clients. Okay, that sounds like so simple, but it's also like so complicated for so many people. There are 2 super effective ways that you can find your ideal clients using LinkedIn, and to do so in addition to utilizing the direct message approach. So the first thing that I do every morning when I get on LinkedIn is I send an invitation to connect with 10 to 20 new people. Okay, and they're not just random people. These are people who I feel could be a ideal client of mine potentially in the future. There are 2 specific search methods that I use. One is the search bar in the LinkedIn Navigator. What you want to do is utilize what we call the Boolean search, which is and, or, and not, to find those ideal clients. So search through your list of current contacts. Find people who might be your ideal clients and jot down common words that they might be using in their tagline. Maybe the words are coach or fitness or woman or corporate. Okay. Jot down 3 or 4 common words that your ideal client would use to identify themselves in their LinkedIn tagline. Once you have those 3 to 4 words written down, now let's go back to your LinkedIn search bar and type those in. So you want to put parentheses and then the first word. So here's an example. My ideal client is a coach or consultant. They might be a business owner or a CEO. And maybe I don't want people who are in the fitness industry. This is an example. Okay. So I might type in quote coach or the words OR and then the word consultant in quotes. And I want them to be a, in quotes, business owner, or they can be a, in quotes, CEO, not, and then I would put in parentheses, fitness. Okay, so coach or consultant, and I want them to be a business owner or a CEO, not somebody who's into fitness. Okay, once you type those words into the LinkedIn search bar, you're going to get a long list of people who fit those qualifications based on the way that they identify themselves in the LinkedIn search bar. Okay, then you just simply go through the list and look at each person quickly. What I like to do is I like to open up each person in a new tab if I think that they could be an ideal client, until I have 10 to 20 tabs open across my screen. Then I go into each person and I look at them a little bit closer. I look at their content and I say, yeah, this person could be an ideal client for me. So now here's where the DM comes in. You want to send 10 to 20 new connection requests a day to people who could be your ideal client, and you want to personalize it. So you can go in and you can say, hey, Sally, so I noticed that we're both coaches or consultants. It's great to connect with you. Have an awesome day. Okay, that's personalized. You've used their name. You've built a connection with them already. When you're sending connection requests, it's so important that you can personalize it as much as possible. You might also say something like, oh, hey, I noticed that you also live in Denver, right? Again, that's another way to personalize it. And so your goal is to send 10 to 20 new connection requests a day. This is the beginning of your DM cycle. This whole process should take you about 10 minutes max a day. Another way that you can find your ideal client is to find somebody else who does the exact same service that you do. You can actually look at their contact list and find people who might be your ideal client in their contacts, or maybe in their comments section. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways that you can specifically seek out your ideal client. And this is the number one point in utilizing DMs to double your leads in no time. Find your ideal client, send them a connection request. Your goal should be 10 to 20 a day. All right, so number two, I want you to now follow up with your new connections and your new followers with a super simple message. Okay, so now you are directly utilizing LinkedIn's Messenger. You're seeing people who have newly accepted your connection request. You're looking for people who have newly followed you, and I want you to send them a direct message. Okay, so the message can thank them for connecting with you. You can share something simple about yourself, something about a personal connection, something about how you help people, and then I want you to ask them a question at the end. Okay, and the key is to start engaging them in a conversation. So for me, I typically send something like, hey, my name's Melissa. Here's a little bit about my background. Oh, and I'm also a mom of two crazy kids, and I have two German Shepherd dogs. And by the way, I'm a business coach. I help people set the foundation for building $100,000 success in their business. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what are some of the goals that you have for your business. Okay, so again, like I thank them for connecting. I brought in a little bit of my personal. I shared a little bit about my business, and then I asked them a question. It's not super long. In fact, like the shorter and more compact it can be, the better. But I think it's really critical that you include those key elements in this initial message to them. So then you're going to have one of three responses. Either A, they don't respond at all. B, they send you a message and they're like, I don't want your service at all. Like, no thanks. Or C, you get a, oh my gosh, that was such a nice introduction. Thank you so much. I'd love to share a little bit about my business and what's going on. You can totally forget about the first two people and just move straight to the person who replied back. And this is now the beginning of your nurture cycle. Okay, so it's so important that you are natural in these conversations, that you're not coming across spammy. You don't want to invite them onto a sales call like literally that same day. Okay, you want to nurture them and listen to what they have to say. If they are struggling with something, maybe you can point them to a resource that you've already done. Maybe you did a live on this or have a YouTube video on this. Maybe you have a freebie that you can send to them. Again, right now you're nurturing and providing as much value to this new person who has come into your environment as you possibly can. Okay, I want you to spend a minimum of 20 minutes a day in your DMs, nurturing conversations and connecting with people. And I want you to do this over and over every day that you're on LinkedIn, whether that's 3 days a week or 5 days a week. This Number two, follow up and nurture your connections is so absolutely critical to 2xing your leads using DMs. Okay, so now that you've had some time to nurture conversations, and this should be something that you probably need to do for at least 2, maybe even 3 weeks before you move on to number three. Number three is I want you to track your DMs, vet them as hot, warm, or cold leads, and get outside of your comfort zone and start inviting people into a call. Okay, so this is the point where most people just get super scared, super terrified. But you guys, you have to get people off of LinkedIn and onto a call if you want to sell your service and help as many people as you possibly can. So one simple way to do this is to track your direct messages. I have a super simple spreadsheet where I have the person's name, I have their LinkedIn handle, maybe a couple notes about our previous conversations, and I vet them. Are they a hot lead? This is somebody who's like ready to jump in and work with me and potentially buy my services. Maybe they're a warm lead, somebody who we've been talking for a while, but I can tell they're not quite ready, but they might be ready in the future. Or somebody who's super cold and they're like, nope, this is not for me at this time, but they could still be an ideal client. So I on my list as a potential, because you never know if they're going to come back full circle to you. Okay. So what I like to do every single week, and what I really encourage you to do, is people who are in that warm category, continue to nurture them, and you're going to organically know when they're ready to jump on a call with you. So you might be connecting with them for 2-3 weeks, sometimes even longer, and then they might reach out to you for a call. Or it's always a great idea to say, hey, I'd love to just get to know you a little bit more. Would you like to have a coffee chat with me or a connection call? A lot of times, if people are still kind of curious and potentially interested, they'll take that step with you because there are no strings attached and they just get to know you a little bit better. But for people who might be ready to purchase and you think, oh gosh, this is my ideal client, like I know that they can use my service and they've shared some of that interest already. These are your hot clients. These are ones that I want you to directly message each week and invite them onto a sales call. Okay, so it could be something simple like, hey, I was wondering if you'd like to meet with me and talk about what working together might look like. Is that something you'd be interested in? Whatever your niches or your industry, there's a way that you can say, let's get on a call together and talk about working together that does not sound like super spammy and super off-putting. So your goal after doing step 1 and 2 for at least 2 weeks is to now add in layer 3 and start inviting a minimum of 5 people to a call each week. You guys, the more people you can get on a call, the more people you're going to have in your environment, and ultimately the more sales you're going to make. It is so critical to go after your leads and to just reach out and to find people. In today's world and today's crowded market, unfortunately, people are not just going to fall onto your lap. You're going to have to go out and do the effort. And using this super simple DM strategy, I promise you, is going to, in time, 2x your leads. And you're just going to forget about not ever having a calendar full of sales calls because you're going to be so overwhelmed with the number of calls that you are now having. So the key takeaways from today's message is I want you to send 10 to 20 connection requests a day to people who could be your ideal clients. I want you to follow up in the DMs with them and nurture them, give freely to them. And we can't rush this stage. This stage might take a couple messages for people, or it could take a couple of months for other people. It's just really critical that you keep these individuals on a spreadsheet so that you can track them and you can know when is it time to move on to step 3 and start inviting 5 to 10 people a week onto a call Again, the more the better. The more that you have these calls, the better you're going to get at them, and the more people that you're going to be able to work with and support in the long run. So I invite you to give these strategies a call, or to give these strategies a try, and trust me, with time and effort, your calendar is going to be packed with sales calls. So if you love this mini lesson and you want to dive deeper into sales strategies that convert, make sure to sign up for my free strategy call. You can access the link in the show notes today. As always, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for watching live or watching the replay. I just appreciate every single one of you. So until next time, I hope you have a blessed week, and I will talk to you soon.